Hello everyone, and welcome to the dungeon. I'm your host as usual, Vibe, and I've got something kind of different for you today. So, as you know, as I've stated plenty of times before, I'm actually do quite a bit of writing on my side, be it for the creation of my dungeons, or for the creation of just stories on their own. And today, that's actually what I have for you. So I've been working on a story for a little while now. I'm only going to be showing off the first chapter of it right now because I've only recently started working on the third chapter, and I'm not 100% on the second at the moment. But I'm going to read the first chapter I worked on for you right now. This is very much a work in progress story, so it's subject to a lot of changes should I ever manage to finish it. Writing a full story like this takes a lot of time, you see, and it's subject to a lot of changes. But I don't know, it's something I've been having some fun with when I find the time to be able to work on it. So I thought maybe I'd share a little bit of it with you. So the title of the story is "The Day I Became a Monster." So it's sort of like a dark fantasy style story. Dark fantasy, but like not quite as much so as a lot of stuff you see out there when you see that tag attached to it. For the most part, because honestly, when it comes to a lot of the like real gruesome stuff, I'm not always the best at writing that sort of thing. Like I can kind of present those sorts of scenes okay, but I feel like it's just a bit outside my scope and comfort level to really write the real gruesome stuff, but that's fine because it's not really my focus anyhow. But yeah, so the story follows our three characters as they inhabit this world in which magic dominates, with the mages being sort of the high class that rules over everyone, whereas they are of a people that they actually don't know much about and are kind of said to be sort of the outcast, like what remains of some former demon lord, they say, and as a result, they are subjected to terrible treatment and experiments by the mages, as they all contain the powers of the various monsters that the demon lord used. So we'll just kind of start reading here and see how it goes. I hope you enjoy it. So, Chapter 1, Our Daily Lives. The beauty of the spire is something I have long come to hate. The way it towers above all else, shining like the beacon of hope that the mages treat it as. A false hope built upon the pain and suffering of others, of myself and my colleagues. Hydra, the test is ready. Proceed. One of the mages standing safe distance behind me on the balcony addresses me. That's not my name, I whisper, quiet enough for them not to hear. They never call us by our names, or by the beast they have turned us into. Hydra is what they have made me. They say long ago monstrous creatures once stalked these lands, creatures created by a supposed demon lord that they claim was our ancestor. I lack the knowledge of being descended of any demon lord. Still, the cursed blood they forced upon us is truth enough of these ancient creatures. Hydra, proceed. The mage speaks again, more sternly this time. Not sure what this one's name is, but I don't see why he acts like he is the one being inconvenienced. I'm the one about to jump to my death. I peer over the side at the ground below. The mages are holding onto my glasses, so I cannot actually see the bottom. But it doesn't take much to realize that this fall should kill me. I take a deep breath and try to calm myself, now that I can in this situation. Stop wasting our damn time, beast. A different mage speaks now, and as he does, I feel a gust of wind strike me in the back. One of his spares, I'm sure. Seems I stalled for too long, but can they blame me? I can't say I've seen any of them throw themselves off a tower. Any second I will hit the bottom and feel terrible crushing pain. One of this would be enough to kill me, or if my Hydra's blood will preserve me once again. I close my eyes and wonder which of those scenarios I would prefer, as I hit the ground and am crushed into a near paste. Learn, are you okay? I hear a gentle voice as I open my eyes slowly. I sit up, hearing various pops as my stiff joints groan with the effort. I look over to see Callie sitting next to me. She came here the same time I did, along with Hade. She is a kind girl afflicted with the blood of something the mages refer to as Caladrius. That particular creature is apparently quite rare and has excellent healing properties. Her being here must mean that my own healing abilities were proving lacking for this situation. I must have decided to supplement my body's effort of reconstruction with her own powers. Yes, I'm okay, Callie. Thank you for your help. Hope you didn't have to see anything too grotesque. I search around my landing zone, examining the now purplish grass damp with my toxic blood. I wonder just what I must have looked like moments before. It actually worked. I suppose we can call this test a success then. A woman mage stands behind Callie. I recognize her arrogant expression easily. This one is called Marquette, Callie's handler, as they refer to themselves. Each of us is assigned to a particular mage who is given leave to do with us as they wish, treating us as nothing more than research subjects and slaves. Marquette is in charge of Callie, particularly rare subject from what I hear, and as such has not much freedom as the other mages. This is likely the cause of her exceptionally poor attitude towards us. So it did. Here, Hydra, you've earned these back. A second mage appears next to me as he hands me my glasses. This one is Zagran, my handler, and a lazy, uncaring man. I take my glasses without a word. I know Zagran doesn't want an answer. He would hardly even acknowledge it. Marquette hates us. Zagran simply gives only the degree of attention as someone who hates animals would acknowledge a stray dog. This might make him seem more agreeable, but he has no problem cutting corners and taking little to no caution when undergoing his test. So, Marquette, seeing as though your pet scraped mine off the ground, guess I owe you one. Guess you do. I'm sure I can think of something. Are you sure you're alright, Len? You lost a lot of blood. And they aren't sure how quickly you generate from something like this. Hey! Don't interrupt him, you stupid bitch! Marquette flies into a momentary rage as she kicks Callie's back for this slight. As I see Callie mute and curl up and shield herself, I feel rage build up as I ball up my fist. Before I do anything more, Zagran is already blocking my vision, wand in hand. Something wrong, Hydra? Upset about something. His eyes are cold, ready to cut me down the second I resist them. I'm not worried about me, as I watch Callie shivering on the ground, quietly repeating an apology to Marquette. I know nothing I can do that won't cause him more harm. I unball my fist, turn my gaze away from Zagran. It's not my name, I whisper quietly. I think that is quite enough. We mustn't damage our subjects if we don't gain anything from it. The two younger mages stop what they are doing and turn attention towards the newcomer. This man is much older than the other mages and is named Oswald. He is something of an overseer of all the research here in the Spire. He is pushed in a wheelchair by a tall, muscular woman wearing a heavy chain around her neck. This woman is Hade. Master Oswald, we were just... Marquette tries to justify actions, but is cut off by Oswald. I'm aware of your frustrations, Marquette, but you must not let your feelings get in the way of your research. But I'm not here to scold you. I'm here to see your research results if you and Zagran will accompany me. Cerberus, if you will escort Hydra and Caladrius back to your quarters, we are done for the day. Hade nods as Zagran takes her place behind the wheelchair. Before they take their leave, Marquette whispers something to Callie that makes her eyes wide, and her shivering intensifies. As they take their leave, Hade approaches us, picks up Callie, holding her like a child. She simply nods at me to follow. Our quarters are rather spartan. 3 beds with only a single thin sheet each, and a small writing desk that we share. They don't give anything to write with, but making a makeshift pencil is an easy thing to do, so long as we hide it when done. Callie is still clutching onto Hade, but has seemed calmed down enough to talk. Callie gives me a nod, wanting me to ask her something. Wait. Oh, I made a mistake here. It should be Hade. Hade gives me a nod, wanting me to ask her something. There we go, yeah. The chain around Hade's neck is enchanted with the mage's magic. Her blood is that of Cerberus, a powerful and resistant creature. As such, they use the chains to resist what she can do. She is left unable to speak, and taking actions too far outside what she was commanded causes considerable pain. But she bears it so that she can stay close to us. She and Kelly were always close, or at least I believe so. When they performed their rituals and procedures to place these creatures' blood inside of us, they wiped away much of our memories, our names, emotions, and overall intelligence we recall, but anything more is a blur. Kelly's is particularly bad. She doesn't remember her name. Kelly's just told him to give her a nickname, something to call her other than what the mages do. She suffers greatly and faces the abuse of her handler worse than Hade or I. Kelly has been getting worse. She seems as though she is more abusive than before. She didn't used to do these things so openly. I know it's hard to talk about, but we need to watch out for each other. Tell us what's happening. Kelly strains herself and raises her head to answer. When she seems as though she's about to hesitate, Hade squeezes her hand to reassure her. Lately, she's been getting more extreme. She seems stressed and angry all the time. Something about my given mutation being rare and extremely important towards their research here. The research these mages are constructing is about obtaining magic or other such abilities that can heal wounds and even resurrect the dead. Despite all the magic can do for them, it would seem such things are still beyond them. They seem entirely reliant upon it, to say nothing of how little they seem to do without their magic. At first, she seemed excited, but I don't think she realized how restricted she would be. To say nothing of how often she speaks of how she believes the other mages care more about me than her. Kelly shifts uncomfortably, her expression clearly showing her concern. I try my best to be helpful. To see to it that she gets her results just like you two with your handlers. But no matter what, she gets frustrated, angry, and takes it out on me. She wants to try a particularly risky experiment involving the Hydra's blood. She hopes that it will push forward the research here and get her recognition. Still, the other mages, Oswald in particular, keep shutting it down, so she keeps getting angrier. And that's what it's about then. I suppose it doesn't help that none of them like us to begin with. This comment earns me a light kick from Hade, who gestures to Carrie's increasingly depressed expression. But maybe we can do something. We know that you are of particular value to the mages, so if we can prove that Marquez is taking these risks that endanger you, they will likely arrange for your handler to be changed. It's maybe not long term, but it buys us time to figure something out. One second. The idea causes Callie to perk up a bit. Maybe, but how do we tell them? They don't listen to us. Not to us, but maybe someone else. Hade scoffs and rolls her eyes, already knowing who I'm referring to. That librarian you talked to. Isn't he one of them? Not quite. I've somewhat figured out the dynamic the librarians and others who aren't full-fledged mages are. More like servants from common houses. Meanwhile, the mages are predominantly from the nobility. Don't get me wrong, he isn't like us, and he works for them. If nothing else, he hasn't hurt us, and even calls us by name. He thinks different from them, more humane. We just need him to act as our mouthpiece. He seems unimpressed by the plan, far from willing to trust anyone from within the spire. Can't say she is wrong. Hey, I know you don't trust them. I don't either, but if Len thinks it could help, we can at least try. Callie places a hand on Hade's shoulder, trying to be sure. Hade hesitates for a moment, then takes Callie's hand and nods to me. Alright, I'm going to speak with him first chance I get. For now, just hold out the best you can, okay, Callie? We're here for you. We always will be. Thank you. I'm going to lay down for a bit. Today has been exhausting. Callie curls up in a bed, leaving Hade and me in silence. After a few minutes, we hear the gentle breathing, confirming that she has gone to sleep. Hade then gestures for me to retrieve the writing materials we have stored away. I retrieve them for her, and she writes me a message. If anything happens to her, I'll kill them. It won't come to that. We can't become the monsters they want us to be. I'll fix this, just watch. I know you will. But not on your own. So try to rely on us sometimes, too, okay? I will. For now, I just need you to do what you can to keep us safe. Good timing bringing Oswald today. The old fort got pretty confused when I started wheeling him away from his office, but when he heard the bitch Marquette screaming her head off, he understood what was happening. Be careful with him. He's smart enough to be in control of those two. Makes him easy to control. Just have to lead him in the right direction, and he'll assert control. Yeah, but that includes you. Oswald knows he can control you with that chain. You need to be careful. He places a hand on the chain around her neck. Not as much as he thinks. but I'll be careful. Thank you, then. We should get some rest. Yeah. More of the same tomorrow, I suppose. We both lay down and prepare for whatever the next day will bring. The ornately decorated... sorry, this sentence back there. The ornately decorated halls, with their high stone ceilings and floor of polished marble, are a testimony to these people's reliance upon their magical arts. The knowledge I recall from our mysterious previous lives, I know that, without their magic, there's no way they could have made these structures with the tools I've seen. This reminder of what they do with their magic brings forth nothing for me but memories of the horrid tests they subject my friends and me to. Not to mention the difficulty they perform on countless others. Wait. That sentence isn't right. There we go. As if on cue, a pair of servants around the corner carrying a stretcher with a sheet stained red, covering whoever lies beneath it. I step aside, making room for them to pass. The sight and smell... Oh, what the heck? Seem to have lost connection. I didn't know I needed internet connection for this. Anyhow. Anyways, as if on cue, a pair of servants around the corner carrying a stretcher. I step aside, making room for them to pass the sight and smell of stretcher tells the whole story. Making room for them to pass. The sight and smell of the stretcher tells the whole story. I'm sorry, having some difficulty with this sentence. I didn't write this one right. Science and the treasure tell the whole story. Yet another has died for the sake of the mage's experiments. There we go. There we go. That seems better. My friends and I are a unique case among the subjects here. Our curse of blood has the primary aim of healing and resistance to damage as a whole. Thus, unlike other subjects, we have proven more durable, and often, with our combined efforts, able to bounce back from even the closest edges of death. Though, should one of us halt bodily functions completely, I'm sure if we could be saved. I shake this thought from my head. We aren't allowed to die, not for their sake, but for each other to get together. We are strong, and together we can make it out of this. Okay, sorry for the break there. Had to fix some things on my end. My walk has brought me to the large curved doors that lead into the library of the Spire. This is likely the only location I've ever been that has been tainted by the mage's deeds. This place occupied and presided over by the librarians who look over the library itself and scribes who serve the mages and gather requested materials. The mages themselves rarely venture here, as an enchantment bars the use of magic, out of fear of those with less experience damaging the books. Pleasant thought to keep in mind. Mages avoid places they aren't allowed to use their spells. Perhaps I should learn how to make such a place. Learn? What a surprise to see you. A kind voice greets me, a rarity coming from anyone other than Callie. I turn to face the man. The librarian wears round framed glasses and has a shaved head. He's quite tall, very lean, and has long robes hanging loosely on his narrow frame. His name is Ivan, and he is one of the 3 people in the Spire who calls us by name, and on occasion, our only way of reaching out to our superiors about our concerns. Hello, Ivan. Come to pick up materials for Zagran, as well as speak with you. I want to get right to the point. The fewer eyes and ears on our conversation, the better. Oh, well, speak away. Our last conversation was wonderful. That method of making soap you told me about was exciting. It refers to as little more than a child's science experiment. I recall from some corner of my mind. Still, that colorful soap made of natural materials must be rather interesting to those who rely on magic for everything. I tell him of Callie Marquette's volatile situation, how he hopes to have more... Blah, blah, I can't talk. Hold on, sorry. Need a drink. I tell him of Callie and Marquette's volatile situation, and how we hope to have Marquette removed as her handler. That is a problem. The nature of Callie's hearing is more potent on others than herself. If Marquette gets careless, it could be bad for everyone. I mean, you guys in particular, of course, but as a man of study yourself, I'm sure you realize how much everyone relies on the research here. What they do isn't research, it's torture. Ivan may not be guilty of the crime, but he clearly doesn't truly understand what we go through. We can't just bring up such claims to the head mages without something to show. You know, even though I do want help, I do, really. So, how about a trade? Between the things you've shown me and what you've showed of your own secret bit of research, I think I can make a pretty sound argument towards taking over as Callie's handler. You aren't a mage, though. Would they allow that? I'm not a full-fledged mage, yet. But with proper research findings, and one of their most valuable subjects, no less, they wouldn't have a choice. Just what do you hope to learn from being her handler? Nothing more than what we do already. Try to unlock the healing powers contained in your guys' blood. But unlike Marquette, I will be careful, and as you are so helpful with these things, would see to it that you and Hay can stick close by during these proceedings. It's not a bad deal, and buys us time. Ivan has aspirations just like the mages. This is why I know Hay is right not to trust him. But if nothing else, he is a better alternative for long-term survival. What do you need from me? Any and all findings you have in regards to you and Callie's abilities. With that, I can put together a strong case towards the new line of research I'd be doing. Only mine, Callie's blood. How fortunate he, just like the other mages, still hasn't realized what a vital part Hade has towards unlocking our full potential. So long as they miss this piece, the research can continue long enough to buy us the time we need. Deal. But right fast. If I'm gone too long, Zagran is going to get suspicious. It would be a problem if he found out about this. Think he would warn Marquette? They're close, at least somewhat. After helping yesterday's test, I'm sure he's interested in keeping her around. I heard about that. I was shocked he could regenerate from such a state. Barely. Which is why it's so important to keep the three of us together. So right fast. All business concluded, I take the materials requested by Zagran and leave the library. I don't like disclosing my own research results, but I'll take the risk if it's necessary to save Callie. I hope that Ivan will prove a better handler than Marquette, and that nothing drastic happens before the authority transition. So I reach Zagran's lab, I knock on the door. Enter. The voice from the inside sounds disinterested as usual. I enter the room and am immediately upset by the smell, to say nothing of the sickening sight. Sprawled out on a table in the middle of the room is a young man. He lies dead, his guts hanging out as he has been dissected like a frog. See that his cheeks are wet with tears or perhaps sweat. In either case, he was alive when this happened. About time he made it back. I finished this up already. Set the materials on the desk. I need to write down my findings. I just start cleaning this up. I'm done with it. It's not my name. I speak, unable to tear my eyes away from the figure on the table. He couldn't be more than 16. You say something, Hydra? I asked what his name was. I try to keep myself busy and start gathering tools. Don't know. Just arrived today and hadn't even been given the afflicted blood yet. This breaks my eyes away from the young man. He was just a boy. He didn't have to die like this. He didn't. That's news to me. I was curious about how your people looked on the inside before receiving the blood. We look the same. We're all human, you know that. You could have seen that in prior research notes, even. He looks up from his desk. Well, aren't you chatty today? No, you're not human. You are whatever foul creature the Demon Lord was. As such, I'd ask you to stop testing my patience, as I have to reprimand you. Break my eyes away from Zagran and stare at the floor. Not out of fear, but to hide my own anger. That's what I thought. You forget where that goes. Pardon? Zagran gestures to what I'm holding tightly in my hand. The scalpel used to dissect the young man is in my grasp. Held so tightly my knuckles are turning white. I hadn't realized I was holding it. I loosen my grip and breathe deeply before returning it to its place among the other tools. Good. Now then, take the body in to be disposed of. I'm done with it. I did not speak another word. I know Zagran has his limits, and I pushed them. It's unlikely he'd kill me, but he would find ways to hurt me. I gently load the boy onto the stretch and wheel him away from the lab. As I walk, I can't take my eyes off his face. This could very well be our fate. That's what I think to myself. See Callie and Hade's faces within this, boys. I won't let that happen. I can't protect all of you, but I'll protect them. I find tears on my face as I reach the incinerator and Jeremy placed the body inside. I am so sorry. You did nothing to deserve this. You could have been so much more. We have to live. I won't let them do this to us. I won't let them. I'll do whatever I can to stop them. And that's the end of chapter 1. Just kind of taking this opportunity to read it back and definitely see some stuff I think I want to change, as well as some corrections that need to be made in the text. But all in all, it's it's coming around for the most part how I pictured it in my head. Some of the lines aren't quite delivered the way I want them to, so I'll definitely be making some changes here and there. Like I said, this is very much a work in progress. Still, though, it's nice to read it out and show it to others, which is can be kind of difficult to do sometimes. It's always nerve-wracking to show off your work, So thank you. So with that in mind, thank you very much for taking time to listen to it. Hope you liked it. I don't really have anywhere else to post it, so that's why I'm just posting this reading of it here. I've been trying to look around for places that I could post it, but before I would post it anywhere, I would want to make my corrections and get a little further along in the actual writing. But yeah, hope you guys like that one. At the time in which I'm posting this, it is Saturday morning, which would mean we would be streaming late tonight typically. So I will probably be seeing you guys later today. So I hope you look forward to that, and I wish everyone a good day and safe travels.